Hello and welcome to Martech AI and Exchange for Media.com. Again, I'm Brij Pahwa reporting from Cannes Lions 2026, and with me is Jason Mander, Chief Insights Officer, GWI. How is it going so far at Cannes?
It's good, thank you. It's hot, but loads of great meetings and conversations.
And somehow the AC is not working anymore.
Welcome to Cannes.
What's interesting about Cannes this year?
I mean, every year there's a theme, right? And last year we were already talking a lot about AI, but the conversation's moved on even more so. And it's now about how do you actually make effective use of AI tooling, finding efficiencies rather than just adopting it for the sake of it. And there's a lot of talk about simulated or synthetic data, the promise that can bring balanced against the challenges that come with it.
GWI's own research says that consumers now spend nearly 7 hours a day online globally. While attention is increasingly fragmented, right, across various platforms. Are marketers facing an attention crisis today, or is the real challenge that they are not being able to understand the new consumer?
So I think consumers have always been fragmented in terms of where they spend their attention. It's just that the places shift. So right now we are seeing a proliferation of social and media platforms. The average consumer is on 7 or 8 of those, plus all of the other media that they consume. So for marketers, the challenge is understanding where they are and then how to show up authentically and in a relevant way. If you think about the various social platforms that are out there, people go to them for different reasons. What you expect from an Insta versus a TikTok versus a Snap versus any other platform is a little bit different. And so if you're a marketer, keep in mind that consumers, generally speaking, don't mind your brand showing up there, but it needs to be in a way that adds value, is relevant, brings them some value. So that's the challenge. It hasn't changed. It's just the places where that challenge is playing out continue to shift.
The consumer behavior is also changing with respect to how artificial intelligence is penetrating our lives, right? We would talk about SEOs, we would talk about data some time ago, and now the conversations have totally changed, right? Now you're talking about AEO, AGO, etc., etc. So, how difficult has it become for a marketer to actually gather that data, put intelligence on it, and use it, to make sense?
It's a really challenging area, and consumer behaviours are changing really quickly. I mean, it's worth noting that consumer adoption of AI is faster than we've seen for pretty much any previous technology. If you were to look at social media or smartphones, by this point you'd see real generational differences, but actually boomers and definitely Gen X are almost at parity with the younger generations. So consumer usage is exploding, but everyone's still figuring it out. Consumers are sort of feeling around for how they want to use it. Marketers are figuring out the best ways to deploy it to actually help. But clearly it does bring changes. If you think about the way consumers search for things, fewer are now doing the sort of more traditional method that we've planned everything around, and many people are going straight to their tool of choice and saying, give me personalized recommendations for X, Y, Z. So the way that you sort of spend your money to get attention needs to carry on evolving, and the prominence of AI tools as effective search engine replacements will keep on growing in my view.
You talked about personalization and how marketers are increasingly, while AI is helping them. But of course, one question I always ask, I was just going about scrolling my Instagram the other day, and I got a recommendation for a $10,000 car. Right, and then suddenly after 4 more stories I get an advertisement for a $60,000 car, right? And I am in either the first bucket or the second bucket. So one of the marketer has gotten it wrong, right? With so many tools out there, with so many insights out there, marketers are still getting it up. So as a devil's advocate, what is going wrong?
So that sounds like the quality of the data is just not there. And that's the problem. Consumers can fit into multiple different segments, that's true. But in that example you gave, something is not quite right in the source data. So regardless of what context you're thinking, if you're using AI or search tools or anything, consider the data that's flowing into it. Does it really understand the humans it's trying to represent? How is that data collected and sourced and quality checked? Because whether we're talking about AI outputs generally or in the future synthetic or simulated insights, they are only as good as the data that's feeding them.
The new consumer is very different from the boomers, the millennials, right? But what's that unique thing and also the misunderstood thing about Gen Z as a consumer?
I think the biggest set of misunderstandings about Gen Z are because people often conflate them with life stage or spending power, or it's just people in their 20s doing something that you do at that time of life, right? So the good example would be if you rewound 10 to 15 years, millennials were the smartphone generation. They were just the earliest and the first to really seize them, and that's what we're seeing come through with Gen Z quite a lot at the moment. They are the earliest and fastest adopters of AI. It doesn't mean they're the AI generation. And if you keep in mind that this year Gen Z are between 17 and 29 years of age, think to yourself, how coherent is that group of people? What connects the single 17-year-old Gen Z who's living at home with their parents, still in full-time education, with the 29-year-old who is married, has become a parent, is in full-time employment, has their own property? Is there anything that really meaningfully connects those two beyond the Gen Z label that we have placed onto them? What we often find is starting with attitude or mindset or interest is the far better way to identify coherent audiences. So in many ways, Gen Z don't exist in the way that we have sort of stereotypically created them. There are commonalities within that group, but often Gen Z share a lot of commonalities with millennials or with Gen Alpha or even with boomers. Find a more powerful way to segment them and then overlay generation when you want to think about how to reach them, where they hang out.
You're a chief insights officer, and you would have you would come across a lot of interesting insights. One very interesting insight you came across last year, which completely shocked you. You didn't think it would. If you go back into your memories.
Wow, ooh, that is a really great question. I think there are a couple of things. One is that there are some countries around the world now where people are spending 15 to 20 hours a day online. Now, some of that's going concurrently, so you might be streaming music while also scrolling social. But think about the amount of attention that is up for grabs. We often hear that various things are dead or declining, but actually when you drill into it, the data doesn't support that. And a really good example would be, in a lot of places, you will hear the notion that traditional TV or linear TV is dead among Gen Z. Now, actually, that's just not true. If you dig into it, it's to do with their life stage first and foremost. As a lot of them are moving out, getting their own properties, actually they're moving back to consuming via television. But then it comes to how you define it. TV for that generation is not just linear or broadcast in the way it might have been for previous cohorts. They're consuming a rich cocktail of content, everything from YouTube to streaming services to broadcast TV. So among that generation, time spent watching content on an actual big TV screen is going up year on year. It's just the definition of what they're watching needs to keep changing. And
the medium as well.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite insights. Like, scratch below the surface of the headline. TV is not dead, it's just changing.
Interesting, that's very interesting. You track data across the globe, right? And a lot of people will be watching this in India. So for Indian marketers, one consumer trend that you have picked up globally that India should pay close attention to?
Ooh, that's a really good question. The fragmentation of media among Indian consumers is one of the most intense. I think India ranks as one of the top countries for the number of different social and messaging services that are being consumed. That's partly because the global players are all there and popular, but there are also local messaging services and apps that have also come to prominence. So in that context, it would be about thinking of the sort of spend of your media, how are you going to distribute it across that complex ecosystem of services that Indian consumers are consuming.
Very, very interesting. What's one AI conversation at Cannes Lions that excites you? I'm sorry, I'm just putting very...
No, it's all good. I think it's refreshing to hear a lot of people admitting that they haven't got it right. and that they understand there's the promise of what can be achieved, but many of us are encountering problems or challenges, and how you create effective synthetic or simulated data. What's been really refreshing from my perspective this year is to hear so many people talking about the need for proper foundational data, because the quality of your outputs will only be as good as the quality of the data that it's built on.
Interesting. We'll do a quick rapid fire with you, very crisp answers. One consumer trend marketers are overestimating.
Overestimating, dare I say it, the World Cup.
One consumer trend marketers are underestimating.
The shift of search behaviors. We're aware of it, but not to the full extent that it needs.
One platform marketers misunderstand a lot.
TikTok.
One thing consumers will never outsource to AI.
Ooh. Proper recommendations.
Interesting. One metric marketers should focus on more.
It's not just eyeballs, it's whether those eyeballs are paying attention.
Interesting. One brand that understands their consumer really well.
I mean, we work with so many, I could choose many of them, but I would have to say Apple. They really understood their target audience.
One prediction for consumer behavior in 2030.
It's impossible to predict. Even more time spent on their favorite devices and platforms. People think it can't go up, it always does.
Interesting. Had Jason not been at GWI as a CIO, Chief Insights Officer, what would Jason be doing?
In a previous life, I was an archaeologist, so maybe I'd still be doing that.
Wonderful, and Cannes is a wonderful place to do that. I hear there's a beautiful castle.
Yeah, 5 minutes walk that way.
Yes. So I hope you have an interesting time here at Cannes, and thank you so much for giving us your time. You've been a great sport in answering all our questions. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.